So we're here on Product Demo Live. Samuel, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Could you give us an overview of what Admix do?
Yeah.
And also go into the granular details of the problem that you're trying to solve with your company?
Yeah, so it's quite simple. If you are a content creator building games, whether it's mobile games, PC games, whether you're building for VR, AR, or esports, you are looking for ways to make money from your content. You have different ways to do this. You can charge for the game upfront. You can use in-game mechanics, but you can also use advertising. And we realized that traditional advertising is broken. As you know, when you play a game and you have a video playing before you can play the game, or you have a banner at the bottom of the game that prevents you from doing what you want to do, it's just a terrible experience. So we are redefining this by integrating ads as part of the experience, like product placement. So as you evolve through the game, if you are playing a football game, you might have real ads around the stadium. If you are playing a driving game, you might have billboards in the street. They don't interrupt, they don't intrude, but they create a great experience that also work for the brands. And so we've built a technology that enables the content creators to tag areas of their game within the game to sell those spaces to the advertisers. And then we of course sell it for them as well to a large network of advertisers.
And could you go through the demo with us right now?
Let's do it.
Awesome.
So what you can see here is a software called Unity, which is basically used by more than half of game developers, regardless of the platform, to build 3D content and gaming mechanics. We have an SDK integration with Unity here, so Admix is integrated in the platform. And what you can do is basically once you have built your whole game, you're almost ready to release it. The last step before you publish it would be to tag these areas that I mentioned before to be able to sell spaces of your game to advertisers. So what you do as a game developer, you would identify some areas of your content that you want to tag. So in this case, this billboard here on top of my racetrack, it's great. You know, I would probably put a fake ad there anyway. So why not use Admix to put a real ad so that every time a user drives past, I actually generate some revenue. So you can see here on the right hand side, we have different type of ad units, which are ad formats that advertisers support around the world. So we have some videos, and then we have different format of static banners. And in this case, I'm going to pick this one because it looks like it could be the right format. And you can see that my ad unit, I've put 2 here by mistake. My ad unit actually appears in the game as a normal object. And from there, I have complete control over my experience. And that's one of the main things that developers love about our solution is the fact that with traditional solutions, it's plug and play. And you don't decide where the ad is going to be. You don't decide how it's going to look. It's just there, and it basically damages your experience that you have spent over a year building. In this case, you can see I have all the controls that I want. I can make it bigger, I can make it smaller, making sure it fits my experience here. And then we have advanced options that are pretty cool actually, where we can apply a shader on top of it. So if you wanted to pretend that maybe this ad was kind of painted, you know, you could apply a slight texture on top of it. We could also curve the ad if the surface was not flat to make it really fit the experience. So all these tools are extra controls so that game developers can really craft their advertising experience just like they are crafting the rest of the gameplay.
And so this actually provides game developers with the ability to create games without charging for it, but also enables them to make some revenue because the ads are imbued within the experience for the users. So unlike a YouTube ad, you know, if you're watching, I don't know, the Joe Rogan podcast, and halfway through, I don't know, Virgin Atlantic want to bombard you with ads. That's a terrible advertising experience. What I love about this is it's imbued within the user experience, and it's actually pleasurable for the end user. That's incredible. This is a racing game, right?
So this is just a template of a racing game. So as the user would drive past here, you can imagine that they would see this ad for quite a while. But the important part is this ad does not interrupt them. Because what people hate is not necessarily seeing the ad. You know, you walk in a mall, you walk in the street, you have banners, you have billboards. it's not that much of a problem because you can keep walking, go on about your life.
Yeah.
The problem is when you want to click somewhere and there's an ad coming on top of it, or you can't find the little arrow to close it, or the video is taking a minute of your time and you really want to watch that YouTube clip. So that's the intrusion that is the real problem, and we get rid of that here. So the consequence for the developers is that they can place more ads without losing users that are pissed off about the bad experience. And so they make more money. The advertisers create a better experience. So, you know, in the case that you mentioned, if you have Virgin Atlantic interrupting you every time you're watching YouTube, it doesn't give you a good feeling about that brand, right? They could become synonymous with disruption. In this case, it's the opposite. You love this game. You actually think that if you see an ad for a Coca-Cola here, that is pretty cool that they're also part of this experience with you. So it changes the frame of mind of people. And of course, it creates a better experience for the users because they are not being intruded upon.
Because traditionally, advertising has mainly been for the advertisers, right? So the advertising industry never really took into account the users that are being intruded on their own experience.
In fact, you can go to advertising conferences for days, and I have done that, and you don't hear the word user pronounced once. It's about metrics and KPIs for them and maybe maximizing the publisher yield and revenue. But the third party in this triangle, which is the users, is never mentioned. And this is changing. And more advertisers, as we discussed before, realize that they need to build more of an experience because that's what people react on. They want to be taken upon a journey and have a great experience to identify with the brand in a positive way, not just being told where to click and when to click it. So the next step here is, as a game developer, you identify all the areas that you want in your experience. In this case, I have done one. And from there, you can simply save the scene, and that basically locks this into place, meaning that this is called inventory. It's a space in the game that will then be sold and replaced by real ads. The ad would come in based on the user location. So if you are in Indonesia and I'm in France, we won't see the same ad, of course. And also based on some targeting at the user level if we have that information. And then from there, you can finish the setup going to our what we call our developer platform, which I am not logged in under the right account at the moment.
It's fine.
And what you can see in this platform here is all the apps that I have created in my with the SDK. And in this case, this is the racing demo here, and I can go in and I can see that I have one banner that has been created here. And as a game developer, I can decide the type of ads that I want. So I can say, I want automotive ads because my game is a racing game. So you can kind of tailor and filter your experience to make it even more relevant. You can turn the ads on and off, right? So you can really control your experience. And when you're ready to go live, you just publish your app in one of the stores. And basically, in less than an hour, you will start generating revenue as people start to consume that content and see this ad. So it's super seamless. There's no coding required. And it's a great way to generate extra revenue for your apps.
That's incredible because, and also from the advertiser's perspective, and from the VR goggles or the VR lenses, there's eye tracking technology. So you're able to actually see, you're able to provide data on whether the user actually looked at that specific ad, right?
Yeah, so performance, for the advertisers to understand if they have spent their money wisely is very important. And especially in those channels where it's not only about driving click or driving purchase, but it's about viewability. How long has the ad been seen by users? We are able to track pretty efficiently on mobile, but also in VR, using gaze tracking and trying to understand how long the ad has been actually watched by a user.
That's incredible. Is this all the features that you wanted to demonstrate?
That's simple. That's all we have.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being on Product Demo Live.
You're welcome.
This was amazing.
Done.